All right. Welcome. I am Justin McCarter. I'm going to be your host today. I am here for this recording of This Costa Rican Life with my friend Sarah Breitlander. Sarah is a friend from the neighborhood. She and her husband are the owners of Crane Real Estate. She's got a couple kids who are sailors.
They are, thanks to you.
Yeah, and we are going to talk about just your Costa Rican experience a little bit, how you came to be here, what you do, how you...
I love talking about myself. It's
good.
Fabulous.
Fantastic. As you may or may not know, this is a conversation between six beers. So I told you I was going to get the Imperial Ultras.
Yes,
but
you lied.
But because we're athletes, right? We get the Ultra.
Right.
But they were warm. And I would not do that to you. I would not do that to you.
Cold beer trumps Ultra. Ready? All right.
All right. Salud. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Wow, so not between two ferns.
Mm-hmm. Not between two ferns. I'm not going to ask you any super awkward questions.
Okay.
Kind of
good.
Keep it fun and light.
Yeah. And it also evades the copyright infringement mildly there, so it's good.
Right. Well, and This Costa Rican Life is definitely a ripoff of This American Life. It's an homage. I love that show.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the different angles.
So let's get going here, Sarah. How long have you been living in Costa Rica, and what were you doing before, and how did that transition go?
Man, that is a loaded question.
I want the transitionary period.
Okay. Yeah. How much time you got?
We got six beers in the cooler.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So at least 10 minutes.
But I'm going to be drinking quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, we've been here almost 9 years.
Ooh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah. In August, it'll be 9 years for us. We're here full time.
Yeah.
We very rarely leave.
I don't like to leave Surfside.
I don't either.
I don't go past the fruit stand.
Not in January. Not in December and
no,
January.
No.
Yeah, I stay within the borders of this small town, and I like it.
Yeah, me too.
We moved from Chicago. I lived most of my adult life in Chicago. Pete, my husband's from Chicago. Yeah. But originally I'm from Kentucky.
Okay.
So I grew up in Kentucky. Great upbringing, We were super rich in love and super poor.
Okay. Just a couple young kids with a dream.
Yeah. So, but, we realized that you don't have to have money to be happy growing up, and grew up on a farm. But my mom was a teacher, so she always kind of, wanted education to be a part of our lives, right? Really stressed the value of an education.
Sure.
So that was kind of, at a young age, kind of always impressed upon me, and I followed that, and I got a scholarship to the University of Kentucky.
Well
Very
done.
rural area, yes. I was the only kid from my class that went to university.
Oh, really? Wow. How many kids in that school?
I knew you were going to ask me that question.
Just
it was a
make
small
something up.
school.
Just
It was
make
like
something
130 in my
Nobody's
class.
going to check this, so we're going to
fact
check
checkers.
it. Yeah.
Casey County, class of 95.
Yeah.
Well, you probably started out with more freshman year, and then it dwindled down towards senior.
As everybody got pregnant.
Yeah, right. It got mono.
Oh.
It was out for a year. But no. I was able to go to the University of Kentucky, so I was really happy about that. And then I decided to try law, so I took the LSAT, and I got offered a scholarship to John Marshall Law School in Chicago.
Oh, smarty pants.
So that's why I ended up in Chicago.
Right.
I love Chicago, but it was more like somebody's paying for my education. Wherever they want me to go, I should just go.
You should just go.
Yeah. But no, that was always my dream. That was my ticket, right? Like education
the law firm,
was my ticket.
The Beamer, the Chanel shoes.
And I'm like a total book nerd. My husband says book smart.
Right.
Wouldn't get out of the rain, but definitely book smart. But no, I pursued that dream, and I loved it. I went to law school, and then I clerked for a federal judge, and I clerked for the Illinois Supreme Court Justice, and I found that to be just amazing. And my goal was always the big law firm, right? That is success. That is what I set out to do. A little girl from small town. That's what I was going to do.
Big dream.
Big dreams. And I practiced at a large law firm. I practiced for a decade. Commercial litigator.
Wow.
So I was in the courtroom, black suits. That's my joke. If I can just etch out a living down here and not put those black suits on, my life is a success. Yes.
It's funny how your goals change.
Goals change.
Yeah.
And no, I don't know. I got there, and I had met these goals, and I was totally miserable. And that
Working
I joke about
unreasonable
it,
hours, I
but
bet.
I was just totally working unreasonable hours. It just wasn't a great environment. Did you know the suicide? Well, back then the suicide rate for professionals, the highest is attorneys.
Really?
Yeah, and of those, commercial litigators have the highest suicide rate of attorneys. We had to take counseling classes. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So anyway, I digress. But I that was really hard for me because you set your life goals
Yeah.
and then you realize you meet them and you're like, holy shit, I've spent the last 15 years
Right,
pursuing this.
And here I am, and this is what I've got.
And this
Yeah.
is what I've got.
Well, I think a lot of people have experiences like that, and a lot of people don't make a change. A lot of people just say, well, I've worked this hard, and this is what I wanted, this is what I got, and I
Yeah.
should be happier,
Right.
but I'm not, and
Right.
so I'm just going to kind of keep rolling along.
I would have probably done that because I do credit Pete
Yeah.
with making the change. I'm super conservative risk-wise. I like getting a paycheck every 2 weeks, put that money in the bank. That makes me feel safe inside. But there was a couple things going on. Pete owned his own real estate brokerage, Crane Chicago, and he'd been managing broker of that. So he's kind of the real estate background between us. And we loved to travel. We'd save our lunch money to travel. France, Europe, loved South America, loved Central America, loved the Caribbean. And he had this wild idea that we could move anywhere and just pursue real estate and that we would be just fine.
Yeah.
Because, Chicago, the market's super tough.
Yeah.
Right? And we were little fish in a huge pond. And if we took those skills and applied it elsewhere, it was his theory.
Yeah.
And then there were other things happening. We were starting to raise a young family.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you realize that the workable, you just can't do both. And what's more important? And my joke is that Pete totally took advantage of my pregnancy brain because I was pregnant with our oldest daughter, Elsa.
Yeah, you've got
He's
those
like,
crazy
now
chemicals
is my
coursing through
opportunity
yes.
to
Although I think that you
like
also
this
have a real
idea.
heavy nesting sort of feeling at that point, and he just whipped
He's
the
like, I got
nest
an
out from
idea.
underneath you
Yeah.
and said, "We're going to throw the
Nestless.
nest somewhere else."
We were nestless. But it wasn't Costa Rica. Most people come down here and fall in love with Costa Rica and
Right.
get here. My story was a little bit different because once we kind of made this decision that we should change, it was where would it be? So we were very the attorney in me was very logical, methodical.
Going to make some lists.
Let's make a list. Let's do some research online. What are the and so we had narrowed it down to about 3 places.
Yeah, don't forget
Cheers.
your beer.
It's already sweating.
Yeah.
Hot beer's the worst.
that
We
poor
got to
little
down this
thing.
boy.
We've got some cool ones. So.
We had top 3. Belize was among those. Panama. So we came down, and then when we got to Costa Rica, because I was pregnant, I said the first thing we have to do is meet the OBGYN down here. Why? Because when we were researching Costa Rica, we realized that we could get a residency
Yeah.
if our daughter was born here.
Right.
So I had an anchor baby here in Costa Rica.
You're not the first, but
I'm not the first, and I won't be the last.
No.
But I was wondering about that. Having an anchor baby in the United States is slightly frowned upon
Yes.
in some areas. So I was like, how is Costa Rica going to treat that? So,
Right.
I wanted to go to San Jose and meet the doctors and see if I even, A, felt comfortable enough to do it.
Right.
And B, how I was being perceived. And it went really well. In fact, I could have had my second daughter anywhere in the world, and I chose to have her here because I just had such a good experience. But then we went around. We just explored.
Yeah.
And we explored every area. And even though I liked the doctor, these areas that I were exploring, it wasn't what I was looking for. And Flamingo was actually the last place we visited. And I was starting to think that maybe this idea I had of Costa Rica wasn't, in fact, what Costa Rica was about.
Right.
Maybe Costa Rica wasn't right for me. And then literally it was a dark and stormy night. We didn't have a hotel room. The sun sets at 5:30 here, and then it's pitch black. We were not prepared for that.
Yeah.
It was during rainy season. Couple of gringos traveling around, and we happened upon Mariner Inn. Remember Mariner Inn?
Oh, absolutely.
In Flamingo?
Yeah.
Rooms $39 a night. Did you ever stay at one of those rooms?
I have been in those rooms. I didn't stay.
It was a wise decision. We were desperate. But, you know, $39 a night's a great rate.
Sure is. They're little concrete prisons.
They had mattresses.
Okay.
I mean, it looked like a mattress.
All right.
It was firm. Some would say like wood.
Okay.
But I did check, and it appeared to be a mattress.
Okay.
And suicide showers.
Yes. Suicide showers. For those of you who maybe don't know what a suicide shower is, that is an attachment that goes on the shower head and has electrical cables coming out of it, and it has a switch, medium hot. In the middle is no current, and then the other side is full hot. And then those cables are linked into your electrical system.
Yeah.
And in many cases, if the grounding is not good in your house, which is, I mean, I would say 80% of the houses. Does that seem reasonable? You know a lot more about houses than I do.
83.
Okay, super.
Exact.
Thanks for bringing the facts. If you touch those while you're showering, you need to adjust the heat and then turn the water on, because you don't want to adjust while you are showering, because that is when the shocks happen.
You do have an innate knowledge of suicide showers. I just didn't shower that night.
Okay. Oh, that's another option.
Yes.
Yeah. Gross.
Yes.
But anyway.
So we woke up the next morning and we're like, we love it. We love it. We love
this
Flamingo,
hard bed. We love this little prison
room. The suicide
room.
shower is amazing.
This is it.
Oh.
Okay, wow.
So that
you had a horrible night's sleep and no shower.
And the next
then
morning,
you said,
we came to Potrero.
it
Was a dirt road, right, at that time.
Yeah.
And it was first thing in the morning, and we saw cows on the beach.
Yeah.
And we fell in love, and we took a picture of the cows on the beach, and we still use that in our marketing for our Potrero
really? Yeah,
offices.
I've seen that picture.
Yep, that was the first morning we arrived.
Oh,
A visitor.
is that Bruce? Come here.
Wow, I didn't know you and Bruce were buddies.
We are. That's Bruce Lopez. He's a total...
Bruce Lopez.
Yeah, he's a pain in the ass. Don't let him get too close to you.
Okay.
Come here, you.
I don't have the same relationship that you do with Bruce. Oh man, that's freaking me out.
So he wants to drink your beer.
Oh.
He wants food.
Right.
He was raised by a local artist guy. I don't know if we're getting this on the camera or not, but
he has a history.
he has a history. There's a hit put out on Bruce right now. The people from the restaurant
pissed someone
do
off.
not like him.
Yes.
And they want him gone.
Yes. Bruce.
Yeah. So
Bruce.
anyway,
We have a similar problem. So when we stage our, look at Bruce. Have a drink,
yeah,
Bruce.
Yeah. He drinks and then he gets really upset. Yeah.
What could go wrong
Right
now?
Yeah, just
Keep him rolling.
Just an angry,
Keep it rolling.
just an
I've
angry
never
bird,
seen a
literally.
bird drink a beer before.
Just an
The show just
angry
turned into Angry
blackbird.
Birds.
This is.
But
Come on. Hey,
Oh,
don't
sorry,
scare.
Bruce.
He will
Sorry.
attack and poke my eyes out. Okay, is that what you want to see?
Oh my gosh, we kind of have the same problem because when we stage our homes, you know, Pete's always in charge of like staging the homes for photos, and we've got this nice spread, but it's all fake, right? It's like fake fruit, rubber,
Yeah.
and there's crackers.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The birds always. Pete's like, damn it, I got to buy another package of crackers from Amazon. These birds always steal the plastic crackers and run off.
Right. So Bruce was raised from a little chick by a local artist guy who apparently fed him beer, and now he's a little ruined, right? Because
Right.
now he thinks people are going to give him food all the time,
Right.
And I guess they do. But he also attacks small children and like flies onto your head as you're walking through the
got a
restaurant.
bad side.
Scares the crap out of people. So okay, Bruce, a little bit more, and then you got to go. Seriously, I'm doing a show.
A
Okay.
drinking bird that attacks small children. A welcome animal here at the
okay.
Sailing Center.
And you don't have to see. He's a dick. Okay. All right. I
I mean,
said you were.
technically, you started it.
I said you were cut off. I usually try to carry around some nuts with me. Nobody has some fruit on you, do you? Because if he fills up, he will go away. But if not, okay. Anyway,
I mean,
you were saying.
Presumably, you could give him enough to make him, pass out. I don't know what his. Okay, Ow! He
Oh,
just
yeah.
bit me.
No, he bites. Yeah, I told you that. I did mention
this
that,
is
right?
for real angry bird in front of me.
Yeah. So, anyway, it's Bruce Lopez. Go on, Bruce.
Is it
Go
okay
on.
if I
Go on.
drink
Baya.
my beer?
Go on. You got to
Or-
go. We're doing the show.
He bit me. Your
no,
bird bit me.
I told you he was mean. All right. We're going to try
You did
this.
say you attacked
He's probably
some
going to
children.
take a dump on the table right now.
Yeah, that's probably best case scenario.
This
It
is
could
a,
also
yeah,
be-
this is
I
anyway,
hope it's not on the.
You did not
nightstand.
disclose this when asking me to be on the
I
show.
didn't. And there we go. Okay, Bruce.
Please don't
get
poop.
him off there.
Please don't poop.
You got to go.
Please don't poop on my head.
Go on. There we go.
Damn it, Justin. I knew.
Hey, I just want you to know that this Costa Rican Life does not condone Tony's treating of poor Bruce Lopez. But something
about
had to
Sarah?
be done. He was fun. He just liked you. He wanted to build a little nest with your beautiful blonde hair.
We can cut that part out.
No, please don't.
Yeah, I know that's making the cut.
Oh, yeah.
Justin's not
That
going
is
to
going to be the thumbnail. At least he didn't drink too
Well,
much.
that's
so.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Where were we?
So I think that we really encompassed the entirety of
This is Costa Rica.
of my relationship with Bruce Lopez and with a lot of animals here in Costa
Yeah,
Rica. You know,
Yeah. Who needs monkeys when you have Bruce?
I like the monkeys in the trees. I
Yeah.
like the howlers.
Yeah.
I like birds.
Yes.
I'm 53 now.
Yeah.
And I've turned into something of a
birder?
birder. You know,
Yes.
we've maybe had this conversation. That stuff sneaks up on you.
Yeah.
Tommy's apparently not much of a birder.
No?
he's a bird smacker. Well, he had a protective, he
Right.
was trying to protect you.
Yes.
I was like, oh,
He is
I'm
my
stuck. I
protector.
can't get my microphone.
As the bird's
my
on
hair.
my head.
Right. I was like, oh, if Bruce pecks out her eye, this is really going to be a bad show. I'm going to have to ditch the whole thing.
I got your back, Sarah.
Thank you.
Great
I'm
job.
glad.
Great job.
Very honored. It was very noble what you did. Appreciate that.
Like her bird night. I have no idea what we were talking about.
No, we were talking. That's how I ended up here.
dirt roads.
Actually, I was finished with my story.
Okay.
When Bruce arrived,
Right.
so it was perfect. But anyway,
Yeah.
that's how we got here. Yeah. And the rest is history. But we went back and forth, and
that's a little. We're doing a talking show. We can't just say.
Oh.
And the rest is history.
And
Okay, everybody. We'll see you
done.
later. Glug glug glug. No, we're actually going to talk about some of that history. We're going to talk about. What I want to talk about is since you guys arrived, you fired up a business, got your little
Yes.
patente, and you filed
Yes.
for that stuff.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you learned to speak Spanish.
long journey. Yes.
You had a nice little anecdote about one of the reasons why you felt it was important to learn Spanish. You had
Yes, an epiphany is
Uh-huh.
what I had. Yes. So, we moved down here not knowing any Spanish, like literally a couple weeks before I had taken some YouTube, like I can,
Uh-huh.
I have,
I need- I want, yeah.
want, basic.
Right.
And also we had a young family. So not only was I like 8 months pregnant, but we had our little boy and so we hired a girl to help us immediately, right?
Right.
Because we
Good
knew we
move.
need the help.
Sure.
And our landlord had this girl working at the house, and she said, she's very honest. She's
Mm-hmm.
honest as the day is long, which is exactly super important.
Yeah.
Exactly
and,
what you need.
And I think Costa Ricans are, as a general rule, and not all
Totally.
of them, but they're very
Yes.
family oriented.
Yes.
The toughest guy that you see coming down the street.
Yes.
If you've got a little kid and they wave at him,
Oh, they'll
he's
play
gonna
with them.
bust
Yeah.
out into a big smile.
They'll go buy my kids chocolate milk
Yeah.
in the store, and I don't even know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally that mentality, which I love as well. But yes, we had a woman working for us, and she worked with us actually shockingly for a long time after what happened to her. But she, and it was disclosed. She's not the sharpest knife in the drawer,
Okay.
right?
But still, you weren't exactly helping things.
I wasn't helping things, and I didn't have a lot of options. So we're like, if she's honest, we'll work together. She doesn't speak any English, and I had minimal Spanish. So yeah, she worked with us the first week, and it was Friday, and Pete and I had been there in and out with the babies, and of course I wanted to pay her, so I had told her, first of all I didn't know if Pete had paid her, so I
Yeah.
said, has Pete paid you? She just kind of, and I said, well, he didn't pay you this week?
Uh-huh.
And I said, because if he hasn't paid you, I'll pay you.
Right.
I mean, somebody's paying you.
Right, absolutely.
It's
It's gonna happen.
Friday.
It's good.
Today's the day.
A very honorable boss.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was just a look on her face, like, I realized that, the Spanish word for pay is pagar.
Yeah.
P-A-G-A-R, pagar. But I guess because I was saying pay, I was saying pegar, which is P-E-G-A-R, which means, to hit.
Yeah.
To beat.
Yeah.
So the whole time I was saying, did Pete hit you this week?
Has Pete hit you?
Are you sure? Because if Pete didn't hit you, you just let me know, because then I'll hit you. Because every Friday, you're getting beat.
There's going to be a beat down every
Yes.
Friday.
You didn't know this about the Breitlander family?
Don't worry. We're not going to let it slip by.
You will get beat. And I just remember the look on her face, and I looked up what I was saying, and I was like, it's really time to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
I need a professional to teach me.
One thing that I say about Costa Rica is a lot of people come down here not speaking Spanish, and you can certainly get by. There are people, our old friend Craig Ledbetter has been here for such a long time, and when he goes to the gas station, he says, "Full."
No lleno.
No, not lleno.
Which is
Just
pretty basic
very,
word.
very basic. 25 years. Full.
But does he say it in the Spanish accent?
He says it with a Spanish accent.
Yes, that's Pete does that. I love that. He says English words in a Spanish accent and thinks that he's speaking Spanish.
Sometimes you can get away with it.
Yes, and this is very much Pete too. Pete will just say the word that he thinks it should mean in Spanish, and it works out. He'll be like cabinets. He'll be like cabinetas, and they're like yes, and he's like I know Spanish. How hard can it be?
One thing about speaking Spanish or learning Spanish, even setting out on the journey to learn Spanish, you get in so many more conversations. It makes it such a richer experience.
Totally. I love talking to people.
Yeah.
I love communicating. And so it bothered me that I couldn't communicate with the Spanish speakers like I talk to everyone else. So it was an incentive for me to do that. And I love that.
Yeah. So you moved down here, you got a couple babies, you're beating your nanny.
You're right, on a weekly basis.
Right, and things are going good. What do you think is the toughest part for people moving down here? What are their, maybe expectations and things that should be reasonable and maybe aren't always? Because it's become kind of a hip place to move, right? When you guys moved down here, you were adrift in a sea. You didn't have a support system.
That's right.
Now we've got a potrero chat that has every answer.
I know.
And it's a WhatsApp group that has every taxi driver, gardener, where to get a new window
at
for your car.
Fingertips.
Right.
Crazy. And I don't have a lot of empathy for the new. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
yeah. The whiners.
But when we moved down here, you're right. We didn't have school-age children. So if you have children, the schools are an incredible resource, right? Because you get to know people and meet people and ask them questions like, where's the grocery? How do I get insurance? We didn't have that because we had babies. And because we had babies, we didn't go out to the bars, the restaurants. Mm-hmm. So we couldn't be social, meet people. And we would literally drive around until we found a grocery. I had to shop at the Super Compro in Guanacaste. Do you remember the Super Compro?
Of course. I like the
no
Super Compro.
AC.
No.
And I just remember trying to get some chicken breast, some raw chicken breast that I smelled when I walked in the main entry.
It's so different. It smells chickeny.
We'll go vegetarian for a while. Maybe some fish. But now
I buy chicken at Super Compro.
We have the equivalent of Costco, which is PriceSmart, and those WhatsApp chats, and it's so much easier.
Yeah.
And now it's cool. When we moved, you were crazy.
Right.
Like people questioned your mental capacity.
Right. They couldn't question yours with the scholarships and everything.
No, they did, and I was crazy.
Yeah. Pete's persuasive.
He is, and handsome.
Yeah,
and
he is.
Both of those reasons are the reasons I married.
Yeah, well, sure. That's a good start.
So, we kind of moved. Now I think it's a lot easier. I do think, and I tell my clients too, initially when we start out, there are just just little things that are really just misconceptions about what's going on. For example, when you go to a restaurant, the U.S. mentality or Canadian mentality, you eat and sometimes my clients will wait for their bill. Mm-hmm. They're like, where is the frickin' bill? The service here sucks.
Yeah.
I'm getting aggravated. They're not bringing I gotta flag them down to get my bill. And the reason...
I'm trying to give them money.
I'm trying to pay them.
Don't they want money?
What's wrong with these people? And the reason that's happening is because the Costa Rica culture is such that you have entrusted them to sit at the restaurant, right? This is your table, even if you bought one drink.
Mm-hmm.
In their minds, you are the client and you can stay here
The lord of that table.
for all day
Right.
and enjoy this. And it's
Actually,
disrespectful.
here we kick them out. That's
Do you?
No.
Of course, it's the gringo way. But it's disrespectful for
Yeah.
them to come and
Yeah.
say, like they're hurrying you along, like, you ready for the check? You ready for the check?
Right.
And that's what's happening. It's actually out of a sign of respect. I mean, sometimes the service
It's
does
a-
suck, but
True. That's
But-
both of those things are true. It's a cultural difference
It's a cultural
that people
difference.
aren't quite ready for.
right.
I always find too that if I go into a place and there doesn't seem to be like a queue, and I get tense because I think, well, I'm here now, and are they going to call me? Or are they going to just get rid of me? Not serve me because I'm the only gringo in here or whatever. And I tell you that always, if you just have a little patience, it always works out. It always works out. The other thing that I
Totally.
love about the culture is going into the hardware store or the post office, and you say hi to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
You roll in, hey, ¿cómo está? And then everybody turns around and answers you and says, how are you?
Yeah.
Can you imagine doing that at a Starbucks or something?
Right.
They would think you were
Right.
bananas.
Right. And that's part of, and you don't just say hi, you ask how they're doing.
Yeah.
And they say respond, and they ask how you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's square one.
That is a lovely thing about life here, is that community spirit. It is not eyes on the phone,
No.
ships passing in the night.
It's not. It's very real.
And you don't go past somebody walking down the street without giving them the nod.
And that's Tico time.
Yeah.
That I've discovered. So that's another thing that gets my clients all, if they don't
Oh, yeah.
understand, they're like, we were supposed to meet at 10 o'clock. And,
And
whoever shows up at 10:15.
10:10, right?
What's happening is that they know, más o menos, more or less, they're supposed to be there around 10, but they're going to ride their bike to get there, and they're probably going to see someone they know. And it's worse to not say hi and stop and ask how that person's family's doing. That cannot happen.
Right.
It's better to be 10 minutes behind
Absolutely.
for the appointment
20,
because
30.
this person deserves to be talked to and ask how they're doing, and maybe they didn't have a good day, and maybe you got to talk about that. And if
Right.
they're 10 minutes late, they're 10 minutes late. So it comes from a good place.
Right.
Again,
Right.
sometimes they're just late. Sometimes they slept in because they're hungover. I don't know.
Yeah.
But most of the
That happens.
time,
It happens.
it is coming from a good place. And I think you just have to realize why that's happening. And it's not because they're disrespecting you. It's because they want to make sure every person they crossed on the path to get to you
Yeah.
has been talked to.
And those expectations that people bring down here, they're tough to shake for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that first couple of years living here, it's a transitionary period, and not everybody's suited for it. Not everybody can wait. I feel like
Yeah.
living in Costa Rica is like having kids again. Kids teach you so much patience. And you can't get that mad because you don't know words.
That's right. And if you take that anger out on a Costa Rican, they'll ghost you.
Oh,
They will
yes.
ghost your ass quicker than you can say Costa Rica.
No.
And because
That's
they
been
don't
very
like
hard.
conflict.
That's been very hard
And
as an
so-
employer to learn that.
And so I actually like it. My years of commercial litigation, it stressed me out. It was always this.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally have found my happy place with this non-confrontation.
Yeah.
I love it. And so, yes, do we have problems? Yes.
There are downsides,
There are. But usually you have to be like, Juan Carlos,
right?
I asked you to come and
Right.
cut
We were
cut
gonna
the
do
trees,
this.
and
Remember
then,
we
but
were
you didn't.
tick, tick, tick.
How are we going to solve this problem?
Right.
You can't come down on them because that makes them uncomfortable, and they'll it's not worth the money. They'll just leave.
They'll just leave. They will leave even if there's, no money coming in to, take care of anything.
That's right.
They would.
That's absolutely right.
But I absolutely agree. Once you calm down and you're able to
Right.
assess the situation and speak respectfully to them and find the solution,
Right.
that's a much better way to live. And I'm not saying that I'm 100%
Totally.
I've found that blissful secret, and I'm perfect every time.
Right.
I still, I have a bunch of
Of course.
employees, and I still blow up sometimes.
Yeah. Oh,
but,
it's very difficult. But yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I heard this, but I heard a long time ago that, in 5 years, are you going to remember this in 5 years? Is it going to matter in 5 years? Because if it's not, you shouldn't be worried about it.
Yep.
If it doesn't matter in 5 years, and I actually think about that all the time.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. Is this still going to impact me 5 years later? And if it's not, don't worry about it.
I don't
It'll work
always
itself
have
out.
that much. I don't always have that much perspective
Yeah.
when I'm getting angry.
Well, it's easier said than done.
Yeah, sure.
You know? Yeah.
Sure.
Nor I. I'm not Mother Teresa.
It's a glib little bit of pop
Yeah.
psychology
Yeah.
there,
Do as
Sarah.
I
but
say,
thanks.
and
Let's
not as
let's
I
drink
do.
to that. Okay. Salud.
Cheers.
Nice. There's
This
Bruce.
is fun. I've never drank during a. What am I talking about? I've never been interviewed. This is amazing.
Hey.
I feel so special.
Oh, you're a liar. You've had so much.
Well, I've not been interviewed.
okay.
Well, yeah.
Kind
This
of.
is cool.
But that brings us into House Hunters. You've been doing House Hunters
Yes.
International. You are the House Hunters International cable late night TV show
Woo.
wonder girl.
Wow.
Showing up, looking at fabulous houses,
It is fun.
talking about living in the tropics,
It is
and
fun.
you are like a big deal. Like my
yeah.
mom saw you on cable TV.
It's called a D-list celebrity. That's what I am. Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah,
nice.
yeah. Maybe D-minus.
You're our first D-list celebrity.
Thanks.
Yes,
It's good to be here.
all of our other people aren't even celebrities, so they're just little people.
Except for that bird. That bird's
Yeah.
going to be famous.
Bruce.
Bird just got his ticket to big time. Hollywood's going to be calling.
Yeah, I'm gonna need him to come back.
It'd be good for your show, I think. Better than I am. Yes, we do House Hunters. We love it. We have a great time. They love Costa Rica. They've
been back. I mean, you've done a bunch of those shows.
I've done about 16. Not
wow.
that anybody's counting. But
Sure.
Yes. And we just love it. They're super supportive. It's a lot of fun. My clients love it. It's great for them. It's like a little piece of memorabilia of their experience. And yes, please do. And we just have a great time. And they say that every time they do a show specifically in Guanacaste, the ratings are through the roof. So they
Really?
just keep coming back. Yeah. But I've done it all over the country.
You've been.
Like Guanacaste.
Have you been on the East Coast as well? All Pacific Coast?
No, there's not a lot of activity on the Caribbean side, right, in terms of real estate.
Right.
So that, haven't done that yet,
Right.
but it could happen.
But up and down the coast, you guys. I know you did a show down maybe Uvita.
That's right. That was not House Hunters. That was Jungle Life.
Ooh.
So it's very similar to House Hunters, except your clients are buying crazy houses. Like we had to get in a four-wheeler.
Yeah.
Car access was not.
Yeah.
No screens, just
Right.
like outdoor jungle
wow.
living. So that was super interesting. And
Have you lived like that here?
Are you kidding?
I don't know.
Have you? I mean,
I know. I feel like you're a little fancy pants.
I'm from
You're
Chicago.
You're a
I'm
Chicago
like,
attorney.
Yeah.
So no to the no screens and
I'm not a-
outdoor
yeah,
living.
No, and we explored down south, as part of our journey. And Manuel Antonio is amazing, and Uvita and Dominical, and I do love to visit there. It's amazing, but man, it's humid. And when we went down, you remember I was 8 months pregnant, and we were exploring in the humidity, and I was pregnant, and we were eating lunch, and I just looked at my fork, and I thought, God, I could just stab Pete in the neck with this. He's so annoying right now. And I thought, maybe this is not a great place for us. Pete loves it. He loves to sweat. He loves the...
Give me that old warm
okay.
beer. It's
Yeah.
okay.
I've done
You
pretty
did great.
well.
You did great.
Yeah, I'm holding my own here. Ready?
That's another thing about. Oh yeah, I like the sound. Yeah, I like
yeah,
the.
you're good at the sound. That is so refreshing.
Well, I've been working at my craft for some time.
Yeah.
That's another thing about Costa Rica service that people aren't always ready for. If you've only got 1.25 inches of beer left, you better and you want it because.
Oh yeah.
It's
They'll
gone.
take it.
It's gone.
Oh yes. And what I find hilarious. There are some exceptions in some nice restaurants, but I'll be like, my girlfriend's come up and be like, okay, what kind of wine do they have here? I'm like, it's called red and white.
Right. It's in a box.
It's Merlot. Like, just calm down
Oh.
with your. There's
Oh,
maybe rosé.
I used
maybe.
to be such a wine
Oh, in
fancy
Chicago,
pants
we were
snob.
like,
Ooh.
"Are you kidding?" And now I'm just, and the wine's chilled down here, which, as it should be, because if you have red wine on the beach, you'll just burst into flames
Right.
in Costa Rica.
Right, it's not
So
mulled
it's nice
wine.
that it's cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
The-
one of my fans.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just not a bird on my head.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
that was
She
not
is
awkward.
a D-list celeb,
compared to
everybody.
D minus. Thanks.
Well,
Hollywood's gonna call.
after this podcast beams out
This
to
is
the
my
world,
ticket.
right? You
One of
might
my
be going up
tickets.
to a C minus.
That's right.
Think about
Woo!
that.
Average,
Yes.
just below average.
Right, you never got a C minus in your
Awesome.
life.
I did. I thought I was going to be a doctor first. Did I tell you that part?
Ah.
And I took calculus, and it kicked my ass. Yeah, it wasn't pretty. And
I
I was
took
like, I
calculus,
should stick
yeah.
with words. I
Yeah.
should be a lawyer.
Yeah.
Math's not my strong suit.
I understand that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But so we moved here. We opened up Crane Real Estate because remember we had Crane Chicago
Yeah.
in Chicago. And so we opened up Crane Costa Rica.
Nice.
And we were trying to run both brokerages at first, but that is insanely exhausting.
Yeah.
So we ended up merging that office in 2018 so we could just focus here. And we opened up a property management company out of necessity because when you can't sell a house to a client unless, especially
Unless
down here,
they know what they're going to do with it if they're not here full
you
time.
have to manage their investment for them, right? And they need confidence to have
Yeah.
that. So we opened up a property management company. So now we manage over 85 homes. We're one of the largest.
Ooh, wow.
Organically, we don't even advertise. I don't even know
Yeah.
if you knew we had a property management company.
No,
we don't
of course
advertise
I do. Of course
it.
I do. We're neighbors, and I.
Yes, so we manage these homes. Sometimes our clients want to rent them out as vacation rentals. So our first clients are our homeowners. Our second clients are these vacationers that come down and stay at the beach and rent the houses. So that keeps us pretty busy.
I recommend you guys all the time because I.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, I like you guys. You guys are nice, but there's also. I say this with all due respect.
Okay.
Most realtors are flaky weirdos. Is that too broad? Is that? I'm sure that
Not
you
offensive
can't
at all.
You can't really comment on it because those are your colleagues. You have to say absolutely not.
Everyone is except
it's a
me.
solid profession, and they are all good and honest people.
Well, the
Ex-
truth is we all get along and we all do try to help each other. But there is no licensing law down here.
Yeah.
Okay, and not a lot of my clients know that, so it's important to be educated on that.
I think that there are a lot of people that come down and they were, let's say,
Roofers, plumbers,
or
receptionists.
machine repairmen, and
Yes.
now they're in the real estate business,
Yes,
selling
and
real
they can
estate.
buy a real estate franchise.
Got
so they
their-
can be a big name
They've got their
and have
polo
zero
shirt,
experience. Right.
and away they go.
A printer to put the name.
What do people need to look out for when they're they would be fools to go anywhere but you.
I mean, of course.
Honestly,
Of course.
I
Thank you.
honestly think that's true. But if they came down and they weren't lucky enough to find you guys,
Yes,
what
yes.
do they need to look out for? What are some pitfalls?
Yeah.
We had a crazy situation here in Surfside where lots were double sold. Remember, like there was a guy who had power of attorney. He was an attorney. The client died. They sold all these lots, and then
26
people
to be exact.
26 lots,
Yes.
and then decided he needed some more money, so he sold them again.
Yeah. So that doesn't happen anymore, which is good.
That's
We've
nice.
never had a situation like that happen. I think it used to happen. Remember back in the 70s, this Surfside was kind of developed. The lots were
Yeah.
planned out and the master plan was developed, and some of those lots would trade at like $10,000 back in the day. And some Canadians or US people bought
Yeah.
them and never visited.
Yeah.
And maybe they passed away and their
Right.
kids had never been to Costa Rica. But they didn't even know they owned them in some instances.
Yeah.
And so they were, in fact, absentee.
They were drunk when they bought them, or something.
I mean, it was on the back of a napkin. God knows. Yeah, exactly. Lots of Pilsen involved. But the point is that, if you're an absentee landlord and you don't pay your property taxes,
Right.
and you're issuing power of attorneys to people
Right.
that you don't really know, that happened, and it can happen. It has never happened to any of our clients, and we've been doing this for 9 years, like I said.
Yeah.
It's really less of a risk.
Set you up that softball.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you. But yeah, it's really not a concern. But back to what should you be looking for in a real estate agent? I would just say, please don't take at face value anyone, myself included, because there is no licensing law. We're pushing for that, and we really hope to have that. I mean, this year would be amazing, but I know it's Costa Rica, so I'm just pushing for the next 5 years. I'll be happy
smiling.
with that. But just because there's a name, anyone can buy a franchise,
Right.
and work in real estate in Costa Rica because there's no licensing law. So I would just say, go to their bio, read up on them.
Right.
Do Google searches.
Yeah,
You'd be amazed what comes up. So just do your homework a little more than you probably would.
Just like you're dating. You need to Google people.
That's right. Swipe right, swipe left. That's just the only thing I would recommend. Or referrals.
Yeah.
Ask around, but yeah.
Yeah. Anybody, I would just like to say, anybody watching this podcast, if you decide to call Crane up, make sure that you mention that you saw this podcast, this Costa Rican Life, with your friendly host, Justin McCarter. That's MCCARTER.
I knew you were going to spell it. I knew you were going to spell it. That's awesome. Cheers.
Cheers to that. Love you people. They're good.
But yeah, it's been fun,
I just saw another bird fly past your head, and I was like, is that him?
We're like traumatized. I mean, there are horror movies written about it. The Birds. That's, it was.
And I think that
flashing through my mind.
crows and grackles in that movie too. Yeah,
it was.
Bruce is a grackle.
Really?
And it's Bruce because that hippie artist guy that raised him painted his feathers with green paint, and he still has it.
What?
I don't think that he's going to win any Audubon Society awards. Okay. But yes, that's how you know it's Bruce. He's got
I
some
just
green
assumed
specks.
it was because the only bird that drinks beer at the sailing center, but apparently that's not
There's
the
other
distinguishing
ways
factor.
to recognize him.
Apparently we need to paint his wings. There are so many of those birds that drink beer. But anyway, we've had a lot of fun with it. I know what I was going to say. So one of the things I'm most happy about now compared to my old life, my former life, I always describe myself as a recovering attorney, by the way. I don't want to turn people off. Nobody wants to hear attorney talk about herself with beer at 10 in the morning. Anyway.
There's a couple of us.
But I really do get a lot of satisfaction from my job. My former clients were bankers and other attorneys in house counsel. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I was too, but
there's plenty wrong with that, Sarah.
They didn't want to hear my calls because if I called them, there was
you weren't
problem.
bringing good news.
I was a litigator, and my firm's probably billing me out at $500 an hour, or whatever.
Fantastic.
But so I didn't have
You're worth
a relationship.
twice that.
Thank you. I'd like to think I am. Now my clients are like just this really. Eclectic's not the right word to use because it's too far, but like this amazing group of individuals who, you have to have means, first of all.
Yeah. Because you can't take a loan out here.
It's cash is king down here. No loans. No Costa Rican banks will loan mortgage loans to non-Costa Rican citizens. So all that really means is you just need to secure financing in the United States or Canada, wherever you're from. Right. Most of my clients, the home equity line of credit is an amazing resource.
Okay.
Because the capital behind that is any U.S. property. The bank knows that. They're like, okay, and then you can do with that money whatever you want.
Okay.
And many of my clients are taking that money and buying a home here.
And running down here, okay.
But they're an affluent bunch. They like adventure. Right, because this is an international purchase. They're not buying an income property in the same city or county that they're
Palm
from.
Springs.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they value quality of life, so they get it. They're not all about dollars, and they're usually family focused or friend life. Let's live life while we can. And we have our homeowners are our friends. Our clients are our friends, and there's not much of a line there. And in fact, when COVID hit, Pete and I were like, our social life was impacted because so many of our clients couldn't come down. But I just, it's so rewarding, and we go out and we see people, and part of my job is helping people enhance their quality of life. Like, that's my job.
Okay.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, it's a really nice thing to say, Sarah, but don't you slightly enjoy having to wear a mask at the grocery store now? Because when I go to the grocery store, and God knows I love my peeps, and I love the sailing center, but I love being able to go keep my, get through, get in and get out.
The mask doesn't help because usually I'm wearing my big crane shirt.
Right.
So it's hard. It is a bit hard to roll incognito. Mm-hmm. I will say that.
It's a small town.
Especially
where we live in Surfside. This is small town living.
That's right.
Everybody knows, not everybody knows everything, but there's definitely chat groups and
no, and well, you know what? You can't be an asshole. That's the way you just can't. I mean, you can.
Yeah.
But
we'll be hosting one in a couple of weeks in our show. famous one.
Yeah, he's really put that on its side. He's really had success with that. Yeah.
He really has.
Yeah, he's really turned that around for him.
We all know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We'll link to him and.
But yeah, I mean, you can't. You have to enjoy that. Mm-hmm. I love it because you're connecting with people. I mean, it's just real. My kids are not on a computer screen. Yeah. We do one day. Sunday is the day they can play with electronics, a phone, an iPad, whatever. The games they want to play. I love it because you can't argue with it. God made Sunday. It's Sunday,
right?
Or it's not Sunday. I didn't make the decision. Talk to God.
Nice. Wow.
Is it Sunday or not?
Okay, well, I guess you can have
Yeah, that's my, and I stick to it, and I don't get any pushback. It's great. So far.
Nice. Yeah, so
Kids
far.
are 8 and 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Still,
Elsa's definitely going to figure out a way to turn that around. But right now it's good.
No is coming.
But the rest of the days, they're on the beach. They're sailing here twice a week.
I love that. They're getting to be great sailors.
Oh, they love it. The things they come back with, and the camaraderie, and they're running around with their friends, and they're like girl power, and it's just
we got girl instructors
real.
that are so amazing now doing sailing courses.
They're in music class. Our buddy has like his own like legit studio. It's like professional bands can record in it.
Wow.
Because it's just a guy who moved here that we love. And I was like, and he's teaching our girls music.
Oh, that's great.
We sail, and we just started surfing,
Awesome.
And I'm like, this is how it should be growing up.
I used to be a sports fan. I used to watch baseball all the time, and I loved to watch the Oakland A's. They were my team.
Cincinnati Reds with my dad.
I loved it.
Yeah.
And I don't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I've got other things going on. I don't watch TV.
Mm-hmm.
I don't listen to the news. I do my projects. I'm outside. There are other options here, and I think it's healthier mentally. Not only for the kids, but for all of us who are able to unplug from the machine up there and get down here.
I think about that sometimes. What would my old self think about my current self, and vice versa? And one of the things is, of course, when you're an attorney in Chicago and you've got these clients, you're always watching the news. Like, I would watch the news in the morning while I was getting ready, and then I would watch the news in the evening. You have to stay up on current events, obviously. I haven't watched the news. It's kind of embarrassing, but I have not watched the U.S. news. I can tell you what's going on. I'm a little bit checked out, but you know what? It was giving me anxiety. Even though I was removed from it, it was giving me anxiety. And and the doctors say if you are stressed and have anxiety, there are a couple things you do, and one of them is like literally doctors' orders for stress related is stop watching the news. Yeah. So we have done that, and then also when COVID hit and we thought the world was going to end, Pete and I canceled the cable because nobody's spending $65 a month. We got to crack down.
Absolutely.
And we never reinstituted it because we're like, we don't even really watch TV. The girls have some Disney movies, but that's about it.
Me too.
And I'm a little embarrassed sometimes that I'm not up on my current U.S. events like I should be. Probably, but it's just such a stressful time.
Let me tell you,
I'm just going to check out, and I'm going to live a healthier me, and I'm okay with that.
Absolutely. And some people bring that stuff down with them.
Oh, totally.
And here,
the newbies especially.
Here's what we do. When say any little buzzword, say Joe Biden or say
Trump.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
Not that word,
Yeah.
but and then I say, is that a whale? And then we just look out to sea for a while, and then we move on from that conversation. So that's my
I
little
use that tactic as a mother. Distract.
mental kung fu.
It's a distract. Oh, look
something
here.
shiny.
Oh, don't cry about that. Look here.
Oh, a hand puppet. Anyway, it works with adults who want to discuss politics too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to do it like 5 times
and it
before
really
they
is
clue
not
in.
talked about here.
No.
And people who just move here want to talk about it because it's talked about so much in the United States.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, I know all of the locals here that certainly that we hang out with. That is not what's talked about because
Absolutely
it's
not.
unpleasant. You can't win. It doesn't matter. We're here.
It's
We're
not going to
focusing-
change the lines on the
course.
street.
That's right.
You know, it's not going to change the parking spots. It is what it is. And
Right. Right.
So let's just pivot a little bit. You know, a lot of people, and a lot of probably your clients too, they look for a way to help down here. And we have had Roberto on the show, who is working with the communities and helping them connect with the government funds that are available for the small communities.
That's
but a lot of
great.
people are looking for ways to reach out, and they're here. Maybe they're not working all the time. Maybe they have a little extra cha-ching, and there is such a disparity here between the haves and have-nots.
That's true.
But I noticed there's some crime, some sort of snatch and grab stuff, but mostly everybody lives very harmoniously here.
Yes, very peacefully.
And people give back, and people work hard to be a part of the community here. And I know that you have a group that works to give kids, local kids, a really quality education. Do you want to tell me a little bit about that and how that happened?
No, absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that. We're super proud of it, and it really fulfills our lives here. We have the Kaiser Breitlander Memorial Fund, and basically we are using that. We've raised over $60,000.
Oh my gosh.
And we have what we call Kaiser Kids. So La Paz School offers scholarship opportunities for local children. And it's a private school, right?
It's a great school.
They're offering a quality bilingual education to obviously those who cannot afford it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have several Kaiser kids. We have one in La Paz. His scholarship is paid for up until grade 12.
Wow.
And then we sponsor some kids in Educarte.
Oh, awesome.
A couple of those. And then we also, one thing that not everyone thinks about, it's great to give and say, okay, I put a kid in school, and okay, even if it's up to grade 12, okay, fine, I'm done.
And off you go. Yes, you're
it's great.
welcome.
One thing that at least we didn't think about when we first started this journey was sometimes these children that you pick them at a young age. You have to, out of necessity. So 5, kindergarten, right?
Right.
Some of these kids have challenges. Some are dyslexia was an issue with one. Some need occupational therapy. Some need counseling. Whatever that is. So you can't just put them in the system and be like, "Have a nice day."
Yeah.
They need special support.
Yeah.
And so that's another fundraising mission for us. It also with the Kaiser Memorial Breitlander Fund. So
every
that's
kid
what
learns
we do.
differently, and certainly if you find a family and find a great kid, and he starts rolling and then runs into some roadblocks.
You got to be here for him,
you
man.
guys are still
be
showing up.
supporting him.
That's amazing.
You can't
that's
just
wonderful.
And that helps their confidence too.
Yeah.
And what I really like is that not only is it the child, but it's the family. The families are interviewed, and the mother and the father have to be on board with this too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that La Paz does, which I think is amazing, they ask for them to support. They're not just getting a free ride for the kids. They need, what can they give? Often they can't give money, but maybe they can make cookies for a bake sale. Maybe once a week they can donate their time of 2 hours. You know what I mean? So they have to commit something also. whatever that is. And I think that
It makes
everyone
it
has
more
something.
valuable.
Yes.
If you don't put anything in, it's not valuable to
That's
you.
right. That's
And,
right. And so I love seeing that for every Kaiser kid, you don't have this situation where the parents don't care.
Right.
The parents are so grateful and they're working
Yeah.
and to get their kids to this next level.
Education
And not every
is
Kaiser
important in
kid,
Costa Rica.
Totally. And not every Kaiser kid's going to be a doctor or a lawyer,
No, let's hope not.
Oh, let's hope not. By the way, the only people that are still miserable in Costa Rica are the attorneys, which makes me feel super better about my decision.
Yeah. Great move.
Anyway, and so, what's right for them? Maybe they're just going to be small business owners. Maybe they're going to be tour operators instead of, gardeners or whatever. But I just really like that there's the opportunity there, and you're letting them grow.
Yeah,
into their
it's
own.
cliche to say that you're expanding the horizons, but you're certainly showing them more than they might have found in their small town and in their small schoolroom.
And they'll be able to support their famy,
Right.
when their mom and dads are old. It's very common here.
Yeah.
So we just get a lot of, it's very rewarding for us. And really you should give back. I do believe if you're successful here, that is an obligation.
Yeah.
And
that's
it's
a measure
it's
of your
personally
success here.
fulfilling. Too.
That people move here because they want to change, and giving back to the community, finding a way, whether it's working on the within the community or
Yes.
raising money for the nonprofits or
Right.
delivering food packages during COVID.
That's right. It doesn't have to be money. It can be time,
Yeah.
and that's valuable. And and I love this community for that. I mean, I really do. I feel like we're a strong community here and everyone's working toward that goal of just inclusiveness and getting along here. And I haven't found that anywhere else in the world,
Yeah.
which is why in 9 years we rented and then we moved like one block over to the beach. And I have not moved in 9 years since then because this is just the best place.
Nice. Yeah, it's a great community, and we're lucky to have you and Pete here. Truly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We're super happy here. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great segue. This was a wonderful little talk. Thanks, Sarah, so much, and we'll have to finish the last 2 beers after the show's over. Sorry.
That sounds great. One thing I would just keep that bird away from me.
All right.
Thanks.
All right. Head on a swivel. Head on a swivel. All right. Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Justin.
Perfect.